because I'm looking at the deer tracks as we walk in. You know, part of the regenerative stuff that I'm focused on is the wildlife portion of it too, because it's just all about having everything work together. And you can see when we walk in here a few of the tracks and where the deer have been snipping off the food or the crop. So
now tell us where we are right now, Aries.
So we're standing in the, well, it's actually the outer edge, but it looks like we're in the middle of the field because this cover crop's so pretty. Of the field that we call the Finley field, and it's going to be this year's site or home of all the 2025 onions that we're going to ship. This is where we're going to plant the seed beds at.
For the Vidalias.
For the Vidalia onions, yep. And so what I did was, instead of just leaving the field fallow, which means nothing in the field, just bare dirt, I planted a cover crop. And so I've got a friend, I call him a friend now, a good friend of mine that he specializes in cover crop mixtures for the state of Georgia. And so he and I have been working together the last few years on trying to come up with the best cover crops for us to use before each individual crop that we try to plant. So for instance, with the seed beds, you've got a high population of onions because, you know, like we've discussed in the past, you'll have 20 acres worth of onions and 1 acre worth of seed beds. And for everybody that doesn't know what we're talking about or hadn't seen it before, we're going to show plenty of videos of that this year. But so what happens is you've got a high need of nutrition that the onions need because you've got such a high population of onions.
Right.
So what we have here is we've got a mixture, a multi-species cover. Sun hemp is one. We've got some millet. We've got some cowpeas that help with nitrogen. Huh. Sun hemp helps with nitrogen. Your millet will help pull some nitrogen up, but a lot of other minor and nutrients, whether it's calcium or whether it's you know, your major nutrients like calcium, potassium, phosphorus, that kind of stuff.
And you're saying it's pulling it up. It's pulling it
yeah.
up from the. It's producing it, or it's pulling it up.
So what it does is this. Think about this root of this millet, for instance. Okay, so let's just look at it. You can tell it's wet from when the hurricane. So typically we put fertilizer out. It hits the dirt, and it washes down as the water moves in the soil. Yeah. Okay, typically that's what happens. So by having this in, what's happening is the roots are transporting nutrients into this plant in order for it to make and to put on what it's got to have to survive, right?
Yeah.
Well, so what I'm doing is I'm taking the nutrients that's in that soil below it, pulling it up through the plant, and then whenever I take and I break this, it's going to start, as it decomposes, yep. It basically starts over. Now I've got decomposition, and as these nutrients break down, cool. They're soluble, yeah. And it starts to, as it rains, it moves them down. Cool. So it's just me creating a cycle, yeah. Is what I'm trying to do. So, yeah. For instance, this plant is going to produce, you know, more of your potassium, your phosphorus, nutrients like that. You know, certain nutrients it takes in order for it to build all of the cell walls that it needs for this plant. Wow. But then you take your sun hemp, for instance, this taller plant, I'll pull it up. Okay, so sun hemp is more of a nitrogen fixation. So you're gonna see, let me pull this apart. Yeah, that's the millet again. So your sun hemp's got a taproot, okay? Yeah. So it's moving down into the soil. It helps break compaction, but it also, it's fixating nitrogen into the root system and into the plant so that it will, as it breaks down, it will release nitrogen into the soil. I'm trying to show you this. So right now, if you look, it's kind of hard to tell because it's got the dirt on there, but those are nitrogen nodules, okay? Crazy. What that is nitrogen from the atmosphere that the plant uses biology in the soil to fixate that.
Crazy.
And so just like I would go and I would spread that fertilizer onto the soil, man-made fertilizer, this plant actually takes that fertilizer. You can see it's stuck to the root there. Yeah. It uses biology to form nitrogen, and then as the plant, especially now because it's starting to flower, it's going to really start putting on these nodules. So when I terminate this plant by mowing it, I'm gonna probably mow it, so you can see I'm gonna chop it up.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna take a vertical till hair and I'm gonna push it.
You'll leave it in the field.
I'll leave it in the field. You can see where I drove on this a couple of days ago before the rain. You see how it started to decompose?
Yeah.
When it decomposes fast, it's usually high in nitrogen. Yeah. Okay? The more potassium and phosphorus that you have, the more carbon that you have in a plant, it will take longer for it to break down. So that's what this plant's gonna have. It's gonna have more carbon than the sun hemp is. So I'm gonna chop it all up. I'm gonna start to put it in the soil, and basically what I'm trying to do is just keep the cycle going. You can see here I've got some cow peas that we planted. That's what cow peas are going to be, nitrogen fixers. Again, you see how the nitrogen's on here. Wow. They also fixate phosphorus. You see the color of the plant from all the rain and all around the root zone. Yeah. You know, it's just what Mother Nature does.
Yeah. What's fascinating, this field is so green right now, and the beds that you prepare are as brown as a football.
Yeah.
As they come out of the field. And I'll try to edit in here, maybe in the video, while right now I'm showing, I can maybe splice in some video of what the field looks like right before we plant the seed beds.
That's right. And you know, 30 days from now, this field is going to have shapes of the bed in it. And the onions are probably going to be about a 1/4 inch
tall.
So
they'll be planted by then in 30 days.
Yeah,
in
30 days. Today's
August 9th.
No, it won't be. I'm sorry, not 30 days. Say 45 days.
45 days.
So I'm trying to speed up the month of August, which I really don't need to. So, but yeah, so you know, I'm just trying to pump. Right now, you think about it. This cover crop it's what, 96 degrees today?
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah.
And I mean, our skin right now is burning. My skin's burning.
Yeah.
So that heat and that intensity is going into this leaf, and this plant's producing sugar now. And it's just feeding the biology that's in the soil. So instead of the soil just sitting there, now that soil is staying alive. And what I'm trying to do is, you know, test the good biology. When I get the good biology, you got to feed the good biology, and just kind of keep that army going. So,
did this field have a cover crop in it last season?
Oh man, I get so confused. I put it this way. I would have to say yes.
Okay.
I'd have to look at my notes to see what it was.
But you're moving towards all your fields, just having cover crops.
Everything now.
So you're sort of just trying to remove as many inputs as possible.
Well, that, and I'm just trying to take care of it better. Yeah. You know, I mean, if it doesn't have something green and growing on it, that soil will begin to basically just die. Yeah. So I constantly keep something going on it. You know, and it's all still a work in progress. I mean, I don't know what's the best thing or not. So we're trying every day. But, you know, as we sit here, we could probably find certain bugs, you know, eventually, of course, ladybugs that eat aphids and eat pests that cause detriment to a crop. Yeah. But, you know, it's just, to me, it's a soothing thing too. I would rather come out here and look at this, walk in this, just think about what's going on now that I'm learning about it, than I had just see a field that's just sitting there bare, you know, so.